Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. Today's feature for Thursday, 4th July 2024, as to be expected, will focus on the passage of Hurricane Beryl, devastation, recovery, and the region's ability to rally together. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Hurricane Beryl has bulldozed Caribbean islands, leaving a path of death and destruction behind. At least 5 people have been declared dead, 3 in Grenada and 2 on Carriacou. But authorities fear that number could rise. As leaders from Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines face the mammoth task of rebuilding and recovery, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has opened Trinidad and Tobago's doors to school-aged children. CNC3's Jesse Ramdeo has that story.
Apocalyptic scenes depicting the devastation that descended upon Grenada's Carriacou Island and Petit Martinique. The islands served as ground zero for the hurricane's 150 miles per hour eye, annihilating communities on the tri-island state.
The situation is grim. There is no power. There's almost complete destruction of homes and buildings on the island. The roads are not passable, and in many instances they're cut off because of the large quantity of debris.
The hurricane not only destructive, but deadly.
Minister Andrews has tentatively reported at least 2 deaths as a result of the passage of Hurricane Beryl. The possibility that there may be more fatalities remains a grim reality.
Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell on Tuesday reported the decimation of the island's power supply and fuel bunkers, adversely impacting aid efforts. The hurricane's horror story also shared by those in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
And sadly, it has been reported to Nemo. We do not as yet know all the details that one person died. There may well be more fatalities.
Prime Minister Rav Gonzalez said that 90% of homes and businesses on Union Island were destroyed. Its airport also damaged.
But from the indicators, we have suffered badly. And in particular areas like Union Island, for example, it has been devastating.
On Monday evening, Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley said cleanup efforts were underway for impacted coastal areas.
I still believe that while we've had significant damage, the truth is it could have been a lot worse, and we have to give thanks and to send up prayers.
Beryl has since strengthened and is racing towards Jamaica. Prime Minister Andrew Holness in a video message urged citizens to take the threats seriously. During an interview with CNC3 News, Ramon Gordon, a journalist attached to CVM TV, said citizens were cautious ahead of the deadly hurricane.
The supermarkets are overrun, traffic is on the road, the persons are out trying to get prepared. Many of them doing it last minute.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has confirmed that following a virtual meeting with CARICOM heads on Tuesday, relief was being mobilized to be urgently dispatched to both Grenada and St. Vincent. Dr. Rowley also said school-aged children from the devastated zones will be allowed into the country if they have family here who may wish to house them during the school holiday period. Jesse Ramdale, CNC3 News.
St. Kitts and Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew joined his colleague heads of government in an emergency meeting on the 2nd of July to discuss the impact of Hurricane Beryl on member countries of the Caribbean community. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline has more.
At the 2nd July Prime Minister's Roundtable, Dr. Drew reported on that emergency CARICOM meeting and the devastation to Eastern Caribbean member states that were in the path of Hurricane Beryl.
Hurricane Beryl has caused significant damage, and I just came off an emergency meeting of CARICOM, really to discuss the response of CARICOM as a result of this hurricane passing through the Caribbean. The countries that are affected significantly are St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Also we had Barbados, Tobago, St. Lucia to some extent. And this has devastated the Grenadines and those islands for both St. Vincent and Grenada, which are Union Island, significantly affected. It is part of the Grenadines of St. Vincent. And then we had Carriacou and Petit Martinique, which are part of Grenada. Hearing the accounts from the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, Honorable, and Honorable Deacon Mitchell of St. Vincent, of Grenada Petit Martinique and Carriacou, one can easily understand the devastation that they suffered. They would give the official report, but based on what we discussed, it does not look good. And this is one of the things that I've been speaking about since coming to office, that we face an existential threat, and that threat is a climate crisis. And at some point, we will be hit hard. This year, we are seeing a record, a Category 5 hurricane in the month of June. This has occurred because the sea level, the temperature of the seas are high. Temperature that we see now is a temperature that is normally seen sometimes August, September, but we are seeing that in the very early part of the hurricane season.
Videos and pictures that emerged showed severe damage to property and infrastructure caused by the passage of Category 4 Hurricane Beryl, but it was St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique that took the full brunt of the storm. Since hitting the lower Windward Islands, Beryl has escalated into a Category 5 hurricane, now headed on a path across the Caribbean Sea toward Jamaica. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
The Bahamas stands by to render assistance to its affected CARICOM neighbors hit by Hurricane Beryl.
The Bahamas ready to assist its Caribbean neighbors that have been and very well could be ravaged by Hurricane Beryl, which at last report has been blamed for 6 deaths. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis says the country has mobilized local teams along with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, or a agency, to respond whenever the call is made. The PM has also been in contact with the leaders of several of those countries.
Antigua and Barbuda Defense Force officers and members of the Royal Antigua Police Force departed the island on Tuesday to assist in providing crucial assistance to hurricane-ravaged Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The personnel have been deployed as part of Antigua and Barbuda's contribution to the Regional Security System Initiative in the wake of Hurricane Beryl's deadly onslaught in the southeastern Caribbean. Kim Emmanuel Baird of ABS News reports.
Chief of Defense Staff Colonel Talbert Benjamin says 2 teams have been deployed to the worst affected islands. One of those teams will assist with relief supplies.
We have 2 teams. One to support the Caribbean Disaster Relief Unit. That is led by Commander Dorian Davis. That's the commander of the Coast Guard. They're going to support relief supplies, and it is made up of 2 individuals who have been trained by CDMA to support that process. The remaining members of the team, which is approximately 18 persons, are going down to support security operations in the affected areas.
Colonel Benjamin explains the CARICOM Disaster Relief Unit personnel will all be meeting in St. Vincent. However, the 18 individuals from Antigua will go to Barbados before heading to the ravaged islands.
They are going directly to St. Vincent to support operations there, and they are meeting up with the remainder of their team members that are coming from across the Caribbean in St. Vincent. The 18 persons that I mentioned for security operations are going to Barbados, which is being used as a staging area for most of the troops personnel going into St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
He gives an update on the situation on the ground.
Recognizing St. Vincent and the Grenadines, a number of the airports in the Grenadine Islands have been destroyed, at least the physical infrastructure. Some of the tarmacs are in place. As it relates to the islands of Grenada, the situation is extremely severe, as was indicated, and that remains the information that we have, but we are going there with the intention of supporting the recovery.
Colonel Benjamin says they also intend on staying there for as long as it takes to ensure the islands recover and return to some normality. He adds one of the ABDF's aircraft has also been deployed to Barbados to support resources getting to where they're needed. The Royal Police Force of Antigua and Barbuda has also deployed 15 members of its tactical unit to assist in the relief and recovery efforts. The officers will be joining their regional counterparts to assist with maintaining law and order. The police force also says 4 additional officers will be on the ground to assist the CDRU with assessment of damage and the provisions of relief. For ABS News, this is Kim Emmanuel Baird reporting.
As Hurricane Beryl caused significant damage in Grenada, Guyana has sent its first shipment of relief hampers to assist the affected people. CARICOM Chair and President of Guyana, Irfan Ali, actively seeks further support from the general public and the business community to aid relief efforts. HGP's Tiana Cole provides more details on the situation and the ongoing efforts to help those impacted by the hurricane.
On Monday, members of the Civil Defense Commission, CDC, along with volunteers from its volunteer corps, packed relief hampers for residents of Grenada after Hurricane Beryl barreled through the island. Tarpaulins, chainsaws, generators, batteries, torchlights, safety vests, hygiene items, water purification tablets, and collapsible water bottles were dispatched early Tuesday morning via the Guyana Defense Force aircraft. Hurricane Beryl, which has now been upgraded to a Category 5 storm, has impacted several Caribbean islands so far, and weather predictions show that its trajectory will cause more damage. Chairman of the Caribbean Community CARICOM, President Irfan Ali, in a Facebook post, has expressed deep concern over the passage of Hurricane Beryl through the region. The president in his statement added that initial reports have indicated significant damage and destruction to infrastructure and private property in some territories. Quote unquote, as this weather phenomenon rolls its way through the region, we must continue to brace ourselves against the effect of high winds, storm surge along sea coasts, and heavy rainfall. In light of these challenging times, the head of state urged all citizens and the private sector to coordinate closely with the respective governments and regional emergency response mechanisms in providing immediate support and relief to those affected by the hurricane. Meanwhile, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, CDEMA, in a statement on Monday, announced its commitment to assisting participating states threatened by Hurricane Beryl. Beryl is the region's first major hurricane of 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, with active hurricane warnings continue to be in effect for Barbados, St. Lucia, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago. In response to the threat posed by Hurricane Beryl, CDEMA said it's activated its regional coordination plan on June 29, 2024, and will continue to monitor the progress of Hurricane Beryl. The decision to coordinate a plan and assist the states was made following a meeting by the Caribbean Development Partners Group, CDPG, which convened over 166 representatives from local, regional, and international agencies. Plans were discussed in preparation for the Category 4 windstorm. Tianako reporting for the HGP Night 3 News.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.